Greetings, Porter County, and welcome to yet another edition of the PoCo Wellness Hour, right here on WVLP 103.1 FM, your voice for local community radio and your show for health, community connection, and overall well-being. I'm Demetrius Lewis, Communications Manager for the Porter County Health Department. Now, here on the PoCo Wellness Hour, we like to take this opportunity to shine a spotlight on the incredible health initiatives that are shaping our community and the powerful partnerships that make it all possible. From local organizations working to improve public health to the innovative programs led by the Porter County Health Department. This show is your guide to stay informed, inspired, and engaged on your wellness journey. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's conversation about building a healthier Porter County together. Now, it's safe to say that most of us have had the chance to dine at one of Porter County's many excellent restaurants, whether it was dining in or carrying out. Have you ever wondered what protocols or regulations these establishments must follow in order to operate and ensure safe eating conditions? Well, guys, today you're in for a treat because we have someone who's part of a team, an elite squad, if you will, of extraordinary individuals responsible for making sure that these places follow current laws and regulations to keep the community safe. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to current Food Safety Inspector and incoming Director for the Food Safety Division of the Porter County Health Department, Carrie Batson. CB, how you doing today?
Hey, Deal. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I feel like I've been trying to get you on the program for a while now, and we finally got you. So
we're busy all the time, so what can I say?
You're out in the community. More than anyone else in the division, in the department, I would say. You guys are always out and about. So we really appreciate your time today on the PoCo Wellness Hour, ma'am. Let's just jump right into it. Let's talk a little bit about who you are, Carrie. Maybe a little bit about where you're originally from. You're from Northwest Indiana, correct?
Yes, I am. I grew up actually in the Valparaiso area, but just south of the city, about a couple miles south of where Aberdeen subdivision is on the route to. I actually did graduate from Boone Grove High School. I was the last graduating class of the old Boone Grove High School, and now they have a fancy new school, which is fantastic. And I went to Purdue Northwest, actually. I got my Bachelor's of Science in Hospitality Management.
Wow, you are a Northwest Indiana Hoosier at heart.
I am, and a lover of the dunes.
All right, right on. Can you share a little bit about your background? Of course, we know now that you are from Northwest Indiana. Let's talk a little bit more about your background.
Definitely. Well, you can say that I have been passionate about food for my entire life. Some of my earliest memories are being in the kitchen with my family, with my mom and dad, my grandparents who lived across the street, and all my aunts and uncles who used to come and visit. All of us loved to cook. We all had big gardens. We definitely made most of our food from scratch, and we helped from a very young age. So it's ingrained in me. So a food and hospitality-based career came very naturally to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, you are currently a food safety inspector, but you're about to be taking on a new role here in about the next couple of weeks at the end of the month as the director of the food safety division. So, how did you end up here in the Porter County Health Department, in the food service division specifically?
Yeah, it could be a very long story, so I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more concise for you.
We got time.
Those of us in the hospitality industry are used to moving around and changing jobs a lot. There's a lot of opportunity that presents itself, and we thrive in new environments and exciting environments, and so it's definitely the nature of the job to move around a lot and take different opportunities when they're presented. And I definitely did this. I began here in Northwest Indiana and started, I was busing at a country club when I was 15 years old, before I could even drive. And I was cooking by the time I was 17 years old as a grill cook in a country club kitchen. I loved it. It was very fun. And at that point, I was getting to the end of my high school career and trying to decide what path I wanted to take for college. And the biggest question for me was, should I attend culinary school or should I go to a more traditional university for a hospitality management degree, which gives you more of a business-based degree. So it's a little bit of a broader scope of education. And then I decided to go that route and attend Purdue.
Gotcha.
So as I was in college, I was working in restaurants as well, more at that time in what we call the front of the house. So serving, busing, even management, bartending. I did all of that. And, but I never lost my connection to the kitchen as well. You're always involved in the most important part is what kind of food comes out of the kitchen always. So I absolutely loved paying attention and still being connected to the culinary team in the back of the house. So I moved to Chicago right after I finished. Well, I was in Chicago by the time I graduated college, and I ended up managing operations at a conference center in downtown Chicago. It was conference as well as special events, so it kept us very busy.
Oh yeah,
day and night, 7 days a week, and that kept me really busy. But I found a love of working in a bigger space, and actually knew one person that had moved to Las Vegas. I went and visited, and what can I say? Las Vegas dazzled me, and I think I found that there was just endless opportunity there for somebody like me. I really saw those casinos and the beautiful restaurants in them as an opportunity to grow and challenge myself. And so I did move to Las Vegas, and I worked for a chef that maybe everybody might have heard of, Wolfgang Puck.
Oh, did he have a TV show?
He's been on TV a little bit, kind of known for creating California cuisine and, some fusion cuisine. And he's just, a mogul in the industry. And so I always say that if you think you know hospitality, then you move to Las Vegas and see what you really know. It'll put your knowledge to the test. And then working for a group like Wolfgang Puck Fine Dining Group really pushes you, because they are very, very precise about what they do in both the culinary side of things as well as customer service. It taught me so much, and it pushed me in so many different ways. And you're always surrounded by these people that have amazing experience. You're learning constantly. It's very intense.
Mm-hmm. High standards, I imagine.
Very high standards. Competition is cutting edge there. And that's what the town is built on, obviously, is service and hospitality and who's doing what that's new and better. And so you are in the thick of it there. So I loved it. I worked in Las Vegas for Wolfgang on 2 separate occasions, actually. Mm-hmm. I went back to working for him. But I went from working in Las Vegas to being, let's just call it recruited to be a general manager for a beautiful ski resort in Telluride, Colorado. Oh. I had worked with a gentleman who became the food and beverage director for the ski resort, and he flew me there for an interview, which consisted of snowboarding, dining, showing me the town, and yes, I did meet the director of the resort, but it was a pretty amazing opportunity, and I took that opportunity and moved to Telluride, Colorado for a couple of years. I was a GM of their fine dining restaurant that was located at over 10,000 feet on the top of a mountain.
Oh.
And boy, was that an adventure.
Not afraid of heights, are you?
No, actually I'm not. I'm not afraid of heights, but getting to your restaurant from either side of the mountain on a gondola presents a lot of challenges, especially when the weather is really bad and, like your whole staff can't make it up the mountain to open the restaurant because the gondola has shut down for a little while.
Now, for us simple Indiana folks who didn't get the chance to go away to the west and all, can you explain what a gondola is? Is that the thing that you sit on, like when you're going up, like when you're skiing and it takes you up? Or
yeah, yes.
Is that what that is? Okay.
It's like that little enclosed capsule
and your feet are just
windows.
Dangling?
No, it's enclosed. Your
okay.
feet, there's something underneath you for this one. You're thinking of a ski lift, which that can be pretty crazy. But you're enclosed in these, and there's beautiful glass windows to look out of. All those hundreds of feet in the air. But yes, you had to take a gondola from either side to get to that mountain, no matter what, or to that restaurant, sorry.
Wow.
So yeah, working for a ski resort for the first time, that pushed us even further, because we're dealing with very high-end clientele that's spending a lot of money to be in this remote area to experience the beauty of the mountains, the skiing there, just everything that it can offer. So you're dealing with a high-end clientele and very, customer service that you want to be the absolute best, and great food. And then, you have the weather to contend with, getting your product there, logistics, as well as the occasional bear that gets trapped in your back stairwell because somebody left the loading dock door open. That happens.
Yeah,
Colorado.
It really
does.
Yeah.
It was something that as an Indiana kid, I never thought I'd have to worry about a black bear being in 2 feet away from 200 people in my dining room.
Trying to mess up your business.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Bears are a little disruptive up there. But that was an amazing opportunity. And when I realized that housing costs were as high as they were in a tiny Colorado mountain town, I actually went back to Las Vegas and worked there again for Wolfgang. And I loved it. I was there in Las Vegas a total of 8 years. And on 3 separate occasions I went there to work. There's a lot more to living and working in Las Vegas than just the Las Vegas Strip. The mountains are beautiful. The Lake Mead recreational area, Red Rock Mountains. You have Utah that's close and California that's close. And it was stunning to me. It was just a beautiful place to live. And I also really enjoyed for quite some time training and participating in triathlons. And so that was a phenomenal place to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of time out west. You have quite the experience out there. I mean, prior to this current position, all the experience that you have working with these prominent organizations, these prominent people, all your experience working, like you say, at the front of the house and the front of the restaurants, working in the back, defending customers against bears, wrestling those off, Talk a little bit about how all that experience is how it kind of led you to the role that you have now as a food inspector. You've seen everything that you could see in a restaurant or anywhere where people are going to be served. So that's got to play a very important part in the job that you have now. It
does. It couldn't have been any more perfect, honestly, when this position came about for me. After having been in Las Vegas and Colorado, I opened up and ran restaurants in Arizona and sold fine wine in Northern California for 4 years. When my husband and I decided to move back to Indiana, it was for family reasons. And I didn't know what I was going to do here, honestly. But being my husband and saying, hey, maybe you'd want to slow down just a little bit and not work crazy, insane hours that we do in restaurants. I did have that opportunity to take a step back and think about it. And think outside of the box of normal day-to-day restaurant operations and what is so, important related fields of work. And so it just so happened I was taking my time and looking for a position, and I saw the food inspector position posted for the county, and I read the requirements and I thought to myself, well, my gosh, I have those requirements and even more. Because throughout my years of working in restaurants, I've worked with huge teams of people, and people are the thing that you're almost most worried about when you're thinking of food safety. And we have to train in food safety. You have to train yourself, and then you train others. And there's not very many things that we do that are more important than that in a restaurant, is training your team how to handle food and beverage safely. Honestly, I had been certified as a food safety manager for over 20 years. I had, that's a national certification, and you renew it every 5 years. It is a training that you do relating to the FDA, the Federal Food Code, and so it's good in every 50 states. So being that I had been trained for so long in it, I knew the food code, and I was very excited about the thought of sharing my knowledge and also using all my knowledge and customer service skills as well to work with our local restaurateurs and business owners to keep our county safe. It sounds nerdy in a way, but I was like, yeah, I can use all this food knowledge in a different way and still work with my food people.
Right.
Like, it just seemed like such a perfect fit. And I get to use all of those skills every single day.
So the aspect of food safety is really something that's been on your radar for your whole career.
My whole career.
Pretty much, yeah.
Honestly, from my whole career. And even my mom and dad used to talk about food safety in the kitchen because, you learn to not handle raw chicken and then handle something else when you're young. And if you're into cooking, that's one of the first things you learn is, don't put raw stuff on things that you're going to cut fresh vegetables on and stuff like that. And wash your hands. Wash your hands. And wash your hands.
All important message.
So, no, I had really been schooled in food safety from a very young age, and it took a prominent place in my career always.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. For the listeners who may not know, let's talk a little bit about your the new role that you will be taking on here in the next couple of weeks, the actual director of the food service division. Can we talk a little bit about what that job entails on a daily basis?
Yeah, yes. And yes, you really wouldn't know looking at the health department how many things are passing through our doors and how many calls we're receiving every single day. There's so much action that happens. So part of that, being the director of food service, is channeling that information and what is coming in and handling what we do with that information. So it's, do people need a new permit? Are they starting a new business? What kind of permitting do they need? What kind of education do they need to operate safely? How can they train their team to make sure that they're handling food safely? We have a team of inspectors, and so I'm still part of that team.
Yes. Taking
on this role. I will still be inspecting, which I love because I am not your typical office person that likes to sit at a desk all day, of course. So we have a team, and we channel that information to our team, and we handle routine inspections as well as plan reviews, which I know we're probably going to talk about a little bit more in depth later. So that's getting new restaurants opened or remodeled restaurants open safely. And then, hey, we handle complaints.
Yep.
We do.
It is what it is, right?
We handle every single complaint. So we take in that information, we put it through to the direct channels and make sure that it's handled correctly. And God forbid we have a report of foodborne illness. It's my job to make sure that is not only the information is taken properly, we record it properly, and we also investigate it and follow up on it properly. So that is a big part of what the role pertains to is making sure that we're following up on information. But a huge part of what we do is making sure that restaurateurs have the information they need to operate safely. And that's a huge part of my role.
Gotcha. Let's jump a little bit more inside of the food service division. If you had to guesstimate, how many establishments do you think you and your team check annually? If you had to guesstimate.
Oh, man.
It's a lot of.
You think brick and mortar or all together?
You tell me.
Okay.
Yeah, all together. Let's just say all together. You're an active group out there. You guys are very busy every day.
Very. And this is not a static position. This is an ever-changing position where restaurants are opening and closing, vendors are opening and closing. So I would say if we're talking about a freestanding or, brick and mortar restaurants, we've got probably approaching 900, give or take. And then, you factor in the temporary, what we call temporary vendors. So those are the vendors that you see operating food trucks or tents at a farmer's market or, a festival.
Yeah.
We permit and we inspect all of those as well. And so I know that within a year we're pushing 1,500 to 2,000 inspections, I would say.
Wow. And is it the goal to get? Let's just focus on the brick and mortars. Is it the goal of the division to hit all of those at least once a year, or what's the goal?
Oh yeah, no, we hit each of those. So if the goal is 1 to 2 times, so if not 3, it might be 3. So it depends on what level of risk there is, and to not like go off on a nerdy tangent or anything.
Of course.
So we have like menu types 1 through 5, and those are, that range is how much risk is there, how many times are people handling the food, you know, how many times could it maybe be handled by people or pass through what we call the temperature danger zone where bacteria likes to grow. So if it's just a place where food comes in off of a truck and it's prepackaged and it goes into a cooler and then people buy it, we only see them once a year.
Like convenience stores we're talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, that's a great representation of that. But if a restaurant is handling food, so they receive the food and it's prepared and then served to the guests immediately, then that's like a menu 2. And that would be more like your typical fast food restaurant.
Gotcha.
Okay, or burgers, a burger restaurant or pizza restaurant, really. So that's a menu 2. We see them at least 2 times a year. But there could be more handling of the food. And those are what we call menu 3s. And that's like your typical, let's just say an Italian restaurant or a steakhouse where they're maybe preparing sauces and they're cooling them and then they're heating them back up before they serve them to the guests. So you see the food going through that temperate zone where bacteria likes to grow a couple of times.
Okay.
So those are higher risk, and we call those menu 3s. We see them at least 2 times a year, and more than likely 3 times a year. So we try to do that. If all things are working well, we see them 3 times a year.
You guys are very active.
Now you would say, okay, well, what about the other ones? You know, the menu 4s, menu 5s. Well, that doesn't mean that we need to see those restaurants more often, but we have a little bit of a more intense inspection procedure for those. So like maybe they're serving undercooked foods. And you would say, what? When do I ever eat an undercooked food? Well, actually you do it more often than you think. Do you order a burger medium rare?
If I'm out at a sit-down restaurant, perhaps.
Right, exactly. So if you have the opportunity to order an over easy egg or a medium rare burger, those are not fully cooked, you know? And so we say that has more risk involved. So we want to make sure that they're handling that properly. So we're making sure that they actually have a disclaimer at the bottom of their menu. And you know, people see it, but they may not, they kind of probably take it for granted, but it's like, hey, you're going to eat this food, you're going to order it undercooked. And we're saying to you that there's an opportunity that if your food is undercooked, that you could get sick from it. And that disclaimer is at the bottom of those menus. So we need to make sure that that's there. And then we make sure that they know how to handle those foods properly. So we're looking at cooling and heating just like anything else, but we really want to make sure that the people running those restaurants and handling that food understand where the risk is. And so we do a little more interrogation, let's just say.
A little detective work.
Detective work. And then, menu 5, you're talking about, and you can put in there raw fish, sushi. It's very popular.
Yes, ew, but okay.
It's very, very popular. So, that's a raw food.
Yes.
And there's actually extra steps that they take to make that seafood safe. They freeze it for a certain amount of time to kill parasites.
Okay.
And we look for those labels on that fish to make sure that it's already been treated, deep frozen for at least 7 days to kill those parasites before it comes to the restaurant, and then they serve that fish raw.
I've always wondered how they prepare sushi in a way where it is not
Safe.
dangerous for people.
Right.
You just gave me some really good information.
There's
right
more. There is more. I could go on and on. It's about what the fish eat. It's how they're raised. You know, there's a lot more that goes into it, as well as the sushi rice. There's
I'm still not going to eat any sushi. But thank you for clearing that up, though. Thank you for, ensuring all of us that there is a process that has to go through in order for it to, become safe to serve to people.
Yes.
So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but maybe now we can go into a little more detail. What does the plan review process look like when a new restaurant comes to town or food operation wants to open up in Porter County? Yeah. Is that something that involves a whole team? Is that something one individual can kind of handle by themselves? Can we talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, I mean, the county itself has a choice. Each foods division team has a choice of how they want to handle it. But how we handle it is that all of us have been trained to handle plan reviews. And we think it's important that an inspector can handle plan reviews in their own territory. And then that allows you to develop that relationship from the ground up. Mm-hmm. Because so the process is this. Before any construction can begin on a new facility, the restaurant owner or the company that's building it fills out this fabulous 74 question, I think it's about 74 question packet. And they have to tell us that they know how to build the restaurant safely. In this packet, they will prove that they have the licensed plumbers, electricians, people that have the knowledge to install the plumbing safely into the Indiana Food Code level standards. They have to tell us that they have enough lighting to make sure that we can see everything, their workers can see everything. They have to tell us what kind of chemicals they're going to be using, what they're going to build their floor ceilings and walls out of to make sure that meets our food code. They have to tell us what kind of food they are going to be cooking. Mm-hmm. How can we even review this plan without knowing what kind of food they're going to be cooking? We have to know. What kind of equipment are they using? Is it all nationally certified, food safety certified? That's all of that is so important. So they have to fill this out, and then the inspector will review the packet. And if there's any questions that arise, which a lot of the time there are, because we're looking at it from the food code perspective, right, then we reach out and we ask them, and they have to clarify their answers, or they have to give us more data. And then when we have received what we need, we can send them a letter of approval, and they can go ahead with building or finishing their remodel. When they are done, they reach out to us, and we do what we call a pre-operational inspection. They have a couple of different, tries to pass inspection. So they need to have completed everything to the standard that the food code sets. And we go through, we do this inspection. If everything is looking great, then we can issue their permit. If they still have a little bit more work to do, then we'll give them what they need to work on. And then we'll come back and we'll do an inspection again. And then they can open.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Not sure if you'd be able to answer this, but just listening to that process, once they turn that paperwork into you, once they kind of finalize that, is there like a set timeline that you have to get that inspected? How does that work?
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of this depends on the actual person or entity that's building the restaurant, mm-hmm, or that's opening the restaurant. So we have about 10 days to finish the review. When we finished it, which we can usually finish it in way less than 10 days, because we like to stay on top of things, and we have a lot of plan reviews that come in, so it's like we just like to get them done. So if the person communicates quickly and gets us information that we need quickly, then the process actually goes fairly fast. Mm-hmm. But, hey, not everybody can get that information quickly. They have to go to their contractors, or they have to ask a plumber. And you guys know how hard it is to, communicate with people that are working on a million different jobs.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it can take some time. But we try on our part to get it done very quickly so that our businesses can finish what they started and get open, because we want them to get open. So, it can go as quickly as a week if we're working with a temporary vendor. If it's a full-blown, from the ground up build of a new restaurant, then it can take, it can take a year.
Wow.
Until we're issuing their permit.
So the sooner they get that information to you, the better, to say the least.
Yes.
Okay.
And, in the build of the restaurant, there's nothing you can do about that. You're just waiting. Sometimes you reach out and you're like, hey, did you forget about me? But no, you're waiting for them to finish, and then they communicate and you go in for their inspections.
Gotcha. This is the PoCo Wellness Hour on 103.1 FM WVLP. We are here with Carrie Batson, the incoming director for the Food Safety Division of the Porter County Health Department. So you guys also oversee the temporary events and farmers market inspections. I love that farmers market that takes place at Central Park Plaza. How does your team manage that, and what unique challenges are kind of set with those kind of events?
Yeah. Who doesn't love a farmer's market, right? Or an outdoor festival? I know I do. So what we do is we do approach so when they're setting up events, there's always a person that's coordinating the farmer's market. That person has to fill out a packet. And that packet we actually have all this information on our website, which is really great. So they can go to our website and print out the coordinator's packet. Mm-hmm. They fill that out, and they'll list all the vendors that they're going to have. What we do on our end of things is we make sure that those vendors are permitted in our county. They need to, if they are not based in Porter County, they still have to fill out applications to be permitted for that one day. And that allows us the chance to make sure that we know that they can operate safely. That's the whole point of a permitted facility or a permitted business. So they turn in the packet, we reach out to all the vendors, make sure that they're all permitted, and then when the time comes, an inspector goes out to the event and we inspect. And honestly, we follow the same set of rules that we do when we walk into a brick and mortar restaurant. But we're looking for some of the challenges of operating outside, not in four walls. Right. You've got temperature changes that you're battling, the weather. You're looking at bugs. You got to make sure that the food is protected and covered. You have to make sure they can maintain hot temperatures and cold temperatures. They still have to have hand washing available, and we give them the way to do that.
Even outside?
Yes. Wow. There are really cool hand washing little stations that you can set up. And we actually have that information on our website as well. So if anybody doesn't know, you can go and look. But you have to be able to, depending on if you're using utensils that need to be washed, you have to have that wash, rinse, sanitize available. So we're looking for all that stuff to be set up and that they're operating safely outside.
Gotcha.
It's challenging for the vendor, honestly. But if they've coordinated well and they've organized themselves, it's amazing what people can do out at those markets. It's stunning, actually. You've seen the great food that they produce.
Always.
It's amazing how much variety we have, and it's our job just to make sure that they can do that and offer that variety and that those different wonderful foods and do it safely.
Farmers markets are one of the best parts of the summer.
Yeah.
Go out and
we do see those vendors. If I know a lot of people wonder, we do see them multiple times a year. Mm-hmm. So it's not any different than how many times do you see them on our normal routine lists. We keep a list, and we do keep track of how many times we inspect them and if we've had any challenges.
If they're in Porter County, you have an eye on them.
That's right.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's talk a little bit about the next subject, the purpose for all these inspections and making sure that these establishments are following the rules and regulations. When you guys receive reports of foodborne illnesses or sanitation complaints, how do you guys respond to that? How do you handle those situations?
Yeah. First of all, we love that the public has eyes on the situation, because we can't be everywhere at all times.
That's right.
So we do depend on our county, the people who live in our county, to keep their eyes open. And please call us. I mean, we do investigate every complaint that comes through. So we receive the complaint, we take all the details, we put it into our database, and we record every detail. Now, you can do this anonymously too. I want to make that clear, because if it's not anonymous, that drives people away, and we don't want that to happen. So you can remain anonymous. So we record all the data, and then we assign that complaint to the inspector that's in that territory. They're the most familiar with the venue. They know the people that work there generally and can investigate immediately and make sure that things are corrected, because that's what we want. We want things to be corrected. So that's our job is, okay, there's a problem, or maybe there's a problem. Okay, let's find out what it is, why it was caused, and fix it. That's the most important thing. Keep everybody safe. So we do approach it immediately, and then we follow up with that data, what the inspector did. They have to fill out what they did to correct the situation. And then if we have to do follow-ups, we do. So if it's a situation that's serious enough that we will follow up as many times as we need to gain compliance, or to make sure that they understand why it was unsafe.
Understood.
Why there was a complaint and why that was unsafe. So education is a huge part of addressing these issues. You have to tell them why it's bad and what they need to do to fix it.
Understood.
Yeah.
You're not just laying the law down, but you are explaining and trying to help them correct the situation so that it does not happen again.
Exactly.
Understood. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's move on a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about relationships, partnerships, collaboration. How does the foods division work with other parts of the health department, or maybe you can even point out relationships with other county entities or state agencies when the situation occurs, if it's necessary?
Yeah, we have so many. I mean, when I think of how far and wide our relationships reach, it's like mind-boggling, because we work with the FDA, so federal entity. We work with state health department, and we also have our appointed Northwest Indiana, it's like the Northwest region. We have a manager that is our point person at the State Department of Health. So we work with her. We also are we always communicate with other counties. We don't just operate within our county and then that's it, and we don't talk to each other and collaborate. We really do. And one of the ways that we all keep in touch also is that we're all part of the Indiana Environmental Health Association, and that's a separate entity that's throughout the state that we have representatives from each county that we meet quarterly. So we get together with LaPorte County, Lake County, Jasper County, there's a whole bunch of counties, and it is so great to keep these relationships and channels of communication open, because what if you do have a question on how to interpret something, and you want to reach out to somebody and get a different perspective? That's really important. So yes, we work with them all the time. If a lot of people will say, well, the FDA, like, how do you work with them? We have a representative as well that's appointed to our part of the state, and we know her, like, by name. She is not a stranger to us. We see her. She comes through and does follows to make sure that we're all doing inspections at the same level. It's called standardization, just so you know. And we also assist the FDA in recalls. So if there is a really nasty recall that's going on and the federal government says, hey, we want your inspectors at a local level to make sure that this product is not in stores anymore, and we go around immediately and drop everything, and
all
we go
hands
around
on
and
deck
we
kind of
make
deal.
sure, it really is, and we'll go far and wide wherever they need us to go to make sure that unsafe product is pulled off shelves. And if it hasn't been pulled off shelves, we record it and turn that data back in. So we do work with so many different people.
That's important stuff right there.
Yeah.
So it seems like within this division, there's a lot of different philosophies, a lot of different ways that you approach the responsibilities that you have. You know, you guys have the education aspect. We've talked a little bit about the partnerships that we have. There's also the element of enforcement. You know, you have to make entities comply. Can you talk a little bit about that balance between making sure, you know, there's education and the partnership, but there are codes and regulations that you do have to enforce to keep everybody safe? I'm sure sometimes that relationship it can be a little hard to juggle a little bit.
Yeah, yes. And I think it probably can be one of the hardest things to juggle, because overall we want to see our restaurateurs happy and successful. I mean, that's what's best for everybody, the public, the county. So we want to develop these relationships from the second that we walk through the doors. We want to be professional, and we want to approach our inspections as, you know, an opportunity for education. So we never want the business owners or the team members to see us walk through the door and go, ugh, the health inspector's here, oh my gosh, hide everything, you know, and think that we ruined their day. That's not why we're there, and that's not who we want to be. We want to be a partner in learning and running a good business. So we will walk with the team that's there, and we do our inspection, and we show them if there is something to be corrected. We show them. We also will tell them the code that we're talking about, because it's not Carrie Batson's opinion on what's right and wrong. This is the Indiana Food Code. This is the law. That's what we do our inspections based on. And so it is important that we show them what's, let's just call it wrong, even though I hate using that word. Let's just say something that needs to be better. And then we'll explain why it needs to be better. Because it's important to explain the why. Like, why is this a problem? You know, why is the food code said that you have to put your sanitizer bucket here and not here? Well, let me tell you why, because there's reasons. So it's our job to do that. It's our job to educate. And if you've built a really great rapport with your business owners and the team members there, then you tend to get more compliance, right? That's what we want. We want safe places. So if we're not doing our jobs by educating and telling them why, and then they do it better, then we're not doing anything. We're not being effective. So, okay, so if somebody does something and it's not corrected, like maybe the next time that we come back to check on it, do we have to be stern? I mean, yeah, but is that necessary? Absolutely. Yeah. Because that's the Indiana Food Code talking, and there's science behind that food code. And there's a reason that that code is there. So, yeah, we're stern about it. It has to be corrected. Ideally on the spot. If not, very soon thereafter. And then, you know, if we really have to go farther, then there's like meetings that we call, and you have to come in, and we need to talk very seriously about why there's still problems and how they can be fixed. And we'll make a plan of action for them. You know, action plan, get it done. This is how you're going to do it. And this is what we're going to check up on. So we are constantly working to make our business owners better. That's our goal.
So you guys, with the education, it seems that you're really opening yourselves up to be approachable. You know, you want people to approach you with those questions and those concerns. And, you know, explaining that stuff as opposed to just telling you, you know, you're getting points knocked off here and moving along, that really helps to build that rapport.
It does. It is so important. If someone runs across a problem in a restaurant, which you do every single day, like say your delivery of food comes in and you're temping the fish that should be fresh and cold on ice, and the temperature is off. It's too warm. The fish is smelly, and, you know, they really shouldn't take the fish. Okay, so if someone makes the right decision and says, this fish is too warm, and this is why I shouldn't take it, because essentially there's probably bacteria here, you know, because fish shouldn't really have a smell to it.
No.
Not a strong smell anyway, right? Nobody wants to eat smelly yucky salmon or whatever. So if we have done our job, then the people that are there, the team members that are there, are going to make a good decision and know what to do. They're going to reject the order. They're going to send that product right back to the truck and say, I don't want that, because this could be unsafe for my customers, and we don't want that to be happening. I remember when my food inspector was gabbing in my ear, and we were talking about fish like nerds, and she said, blah, 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 blah. I want that to ring in their minds. Like, if I have a good relationship and I've informed them the right way and I've been approachable and done my job, then they're going to do a better job every single day with the challenges that arise. And they're going to have the answers to do what's right according to the Indiana Food Code. Gotcha. And that's what we want.
Even though the responsibilities of the departments are to handle the enforcement, which is something that you hope not to get to. Like you said, there are stages, there are levels to it. The education, of course, and sometimes it does lead up to that enforcement. But it's important for people to know that we're a part of this community also. We live here, we work here, and we also play here. We're family. Yeah.
We eat here.
We eat here. We love to eat here. All the great restaurants, of course. But it's important to know that, even though this is a government body, even though they have the regulations, which are a big part of their responsibilities to enforce to make sure that everyone is safe in the community, it's important to keep in mind that while they are out there protecting and, enforcing these codes, that we are a part of this community also.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about National Safe Food Month, which is September. Did you know that? Were you aware of that?
Quite honestly, I've been busy, and I honestly wasn't aware until you told me, hey, you're going to meet me here at this time, and we're going to have a conversation about it. No, honestly, I'm not really good at looking at that stuff on calendars, because I'm just living day to day on my calendar to get things done.
Well, lucky for you, the department has a communications manager who is on with that stuff, who keeps that stuff on his agenda.
Every month is Food Safety Month to me.
There you go. Yeah. National Food Safety Month. Well, let's talk a little bit about why initiatives like this are important, to highlight in each community. And like you said, not just for the month of September, but every month in the year. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of initiatives like National Safe Food Month. Yeah,
I thought about this when the question was presented to me, and this is what I think. Oftentimes, in this day-to-day busy life that we have to just grab a quick bite of food. It sustains us through our day. And it doesn't matter where that food comes from, whether it's a convenience store, a drive-through restaurant, if you have time to snag a salad from the deli at your local supermarket. You should have the right to know that food is safe. And so I think it's important to know how that food is safe and why it's safe. And so it's really great that there's a focus on this so that the public understands what we do to keep that food safe, right? Mm-hmm. So you can grab something from a gas station and be confident that that food is safe. Also, I just believe that people should have a basic understanding of what makes our food safe or unsafe. Mm-hmm. We cook for people, loved ones, friends, family, all the time. And what if you handled something and it ended up becoming unsafe? I mean, we don't want to do that to each other. At least I don't. I mean, maybe you don't like them and you want to, but no. I think that it's important just to have that good basic knowledge of food safety for your kiddos, for your friends and family to use in your day-to-day
Absolutely.
life.
Even if there is just 1 month that is designated to bring awareness, like we said earlier, it's important to practice these things all year round, all day, every day. We're getting towards the end of our program today. We've got about 10 minutes left, so we're going to ask a few rapid questions here. Let's skip ahead a little bit if you don't mind. We've talked a lot about a lot of serious stuff here today, so I wanted to end this segment, with some fun, lighthearted questions. Are you okay with that?
Yes, and just so everybody knows, I don't know what these questions are. So
okay, that's the plan. That was the plan.
Oh boy.
Okay. Now, for some lighter stuff. Food-inspired fun. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is your personal favorite safe food snack or something that you use on the go to kind of keep you active when you're out on your daily inspections? You guys are always on the go. You're in the office a good amount of time, but a lot of your time is out in the field. So what little snack kind of keeps you going when you're out and about?
Yeah. I can tell you right now I have a bag of Pink Lady apples in my car.
Oh,
I love them. I love apples. And honestly, I'd love to pair them with something salty. So usually that's popcorn or peanuts. I love apple with peanut butter
Apple with peanut butter, I get.
Oh, man.
So with the apples, do you mix those things together? Or what are you saying?
You crunch on an apple and then eat some salty popcorn with it.
All right. So you're not like mixing these items together.
No, that would
That's something a weird person would do.
I am not weird, Dimitri.
No, you're not. You were on it, CB. You were on it. Okay. So if you were to create your own Porter County safe snack that you would recommend to all of our fine county employees, our co-workers, what would that be? And please feel free to be creative. What kind of snack would you create and promote to say, hey, this will give you energy and keep you going all day?
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
You're a health nerd. You eat a lot of healthy stuff. You should be good at this.
I am a health nerd. I definitely, I think that you're challenged in your day-to-day to get enough like healthy protein. Mm-hmm. And I think that a good amount of protein comes from, or should come from plant-based protein. And I know that turns a lot of people off, but so to me, I think if you did a trail mix with, home roasted, toasted like pecans and cashews and maybe just a touch of drizzle of maple syrup and, toasted that and did a mixture. I love that sort of thing. Toasted and, one of the highest protein, plant-based protein items there is pepitas or pumpkin seeds, like toasted pumpkin seeds. So I probably would throw some of that in there too. And then I'm a big fan of a fruit tray. And I also love a veggie dip tray. So like a Greek yogurt based dip, like dill dip, and then have just a variety of vegetables. That's what I would push on everybody. So it would be like a healthy trail mix, and then a veggie and Greek yogurt dip tray and a variety of fruit. I know.
And I can tell you guys that she's not just pushing a healthy agenda. These are things that she actually eats. I very rarely see this lady eating any junk food.
Yeah.
The junkiest food I believe I've seen you eat would probably be like some popcorn with butter on it. If you've even had that, if I've ever even seen you.
I dig popcorn with butter. No, you know what?
That's probably the unhealthiest thing I've seen you eat.
No way. My Achilles heel is chips and dip.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Like any chip. And any kind of dip.
Like sauce? Okay.
Yep. I can barely have it in my house. It's my favorite thing. Love that salty crunch.
Yeah.
That's my Achilles heel. I'll pass up French fries, cheeseburgers, like any fast food that everybody, ice cream, whatever, for some normal chips and dip.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, you have some experience working for famous people, famous chef. If you could have dinner with any famous chef, who would it be? Oh. And what would be served to you? What would you have for dinner?
You know what? This is actually an easy one for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, immediately. Anthony Bourdain would be the chef that I would want to sit with and talk with and share, ideas and stories.
What are you eating?
I think I would go to that just most amazing meal, which is a whole herb roasted chicken.
Oh.
I would make it. I like to make it with fresh rosemary, thyme, whole lemon, like cut lemons, and you put that on the outside of the bird, on the inside of the bird, and then you put really great root vegetables like parsnips and carrots and potatoes and sweet potatoes underneath the bird with, good olive oil and more lemon, and you roast it. And honestly, it's one of the best meals in the entire world. Probably with a glass of crisp white wine.
Oh, not just white wine, but crisp.
It needs to be crisp, dry, like beautiful, dry, like Pinot Gris or, Yeah.
Little bougie. Mm-hmm. Pinky in the air.
Mm-hmm. And if you wonder, like regionally, it would be an either Oregon Pinot Gris, probably an Oregon Pinot Gris, honestly, or maybe a Sancerre from France.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I've got one more question.
Yes.
You're a dog lover.
Oh,
You're a canine supporter.
Very much so.
I saved this question to the end because I'm really interested in your answer. I don't think we've talked about this in the office. Who is the cooler TV dog? Lassie or Rin Tin Tin?
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh.
They both had great episodes. I used to watch them both after school. Which one was your favorite?
Dang. Gosh, see, I guess I remember Lassie more.
Okay.
Than Rin Tin Tin, so I'm gonna go for Lassie.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're okay. I'm such a dog lover. It's really hard for me to
She's gonna pick both.
Yeah. Okay, Underdog. There you go.
Underdog.
The
That's
cartoon.
a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember him?
I do. I was gonna say, you remember Benji?
Heck
I was
yeah.
gonna say he was an honorable mention. I'm not really into smaller dogs, but he got into some mischief. I believe he saved children too.
His personality is big. So
I remember that one movie where he defeated the wolf, and
that's right.
Yeah,
he was a little guy, but he had a lot of power and strength.
He had a lot of heart.
A lot of heart in that guy. That's right. Every dog is an awesome dog to me.
That is awesome, ma'am. I had to close with that. Carrie, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your insight and the important work that you do with the Porter County Health Department. We really appreciate your time today.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for including me, and I love what I do, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. Attention, new moms, expecting moms, and families. The Porter County Health Department invites you to our first ever community baby shower on Friday, October 17th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Porter County Community Foundation Building, 1401 Calumet Ave, right here in Valparaiso. You can come out and enjoy a welcoming day filled with resources, helpful information, giveaways, and connections to local programs that are designed to support you and your baby. Whether you're preparing for your little one's arrival or already caring for your newborn, this is a wonderful chance for you to learn, share, and celebrate parenthood. Mark your calendars and bring a friend, why don't you? Because you won't want to miss out on this event. For more details, please visit us on the Porter County Health Department website, and you can find us on social media. Together, we're building a healthier beginnings for all babies here in our community. And if you want to follow us on our social medias, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Porter County Health Department, DEPT. You can find us on Twitter or x.com/county_Porter. You can find us on Instagram at Porter_County HD. And you can also find us on the Porter County government website, which is www.portercountyin.gov. This is Demetrius Lewis, Communications Manager for the Porter County Health Department, signing off. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the PoCo Wellness Hour right here on WVLP 103.1. This is your show for health, community connection, and overall well-being. Have a healthy and wonderful week, Porter County. Peace.